In the realm where the spirit of the wild meets the echoes of history, horses have stood as our most noble companions. From the metallic glow of the Akal Teke to the frozen endurance of the Yakut, these are more than just animals. They are living legends forged by evolution and time. Today, we dive into the secret stories and biological marvels of the world's most extraordinary breeds. Before we unveil these majestic creatures, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more epic discoveries. Now, tell us in the comments, which country are you watching from tonight? Observe the living canvas of the Knabstrupper, a Danish marvel that traces its lineage back to the Napoleonic era. In this reality-based observation, we see a creature defined by the leopard complex genetics, creating a coat that is scientifically unique in the equine world. Standing approximately 15.2 to 16 hands high, these horses are not the product of digital imagination, but of rigorous 16th century breeding programs from the Knabstrup estate. Their physical build is robust, featuring a well-proportioned frame designed for endurance and classical dressage, far removed from any cinematic exaggeration. To see them move is to witness a masterpiece of biology. They look like a splash of ink droplets scattered across a field of fresh snow. As the Nordic sun hits their unique spotting, there is a sense of ancestral pride that radiates from their calm demeanor. Is it possible that nature designed this pattern as a map to a forgotten history? Step into the wetlands of the Netherlands, the ancestral home of the Frisian horse, a breed that serves as a monument to medieval power and precision. This is a purely documentary exploration of a horse that nearly faced extinction in the early 20th century. Known for its powerful, high-stepping trot and its distinct lack of any color other than the deepest black, the Frisian's anatomy is built for agility despite its draft horse strength. They possess a thick, flowing mane and feathers on their lower legs that serve as a natural shield against the damp terrain of Friesland. Visually, they resemble a sculpture carved from midnight silk, moving with a rhythm that mimics the rolling waves of the North Sea. The local people speak of them with a reverence reserved for kings, viewing the horse as the very soul of their land. Could such a perfect creature be the final remnant of a lost, noble age? In the vast, managed ranches of North America, the American paint horse stands as a testament to the functional beauty of the western frontier. This breed is defined by strict biological criteria, requiring a lineage from registered quarter horses or thoroughbreds, combined with the distinct Tobiano or Overo spotting patterns. Their physiology is optimized for sudden bursts of speed and incredible maneuverability, a mechanical necessity for working cattle in rugged environments. Scientifically, no two coat patterns are identical, making each horse a unique biological fingerprint of the plains. They appear as a chaotic abstract painting brought to life, as if a giant had spilled white and chestnut paint across the horizon. There is a deep-seated pride among the riders who claim that a paint horse possesses a spirit that can never be fully tamed. Does the randomness of their coat reflect the unpredictable heart of the wilderness itself? Why did the kings of Europe choose only this breed for centuries, and what secrets are hidden in their majestic gait. Known as the pure Spanish horse, the Andalusian is a compact, powerful animal with a neck arched in a permanent state of regal defiance. These horses were the ultimate machines of war and high society art, featuring a legendary Pura Raza Española certification that guards their genetic purity with absolute strictness. When they move, they do not merely walk. They dance like a powerful sculpture that has suddenly gained the breath of life, their tails sweeping the ground like royal robes. In the dim light of the stable, a strange aura seems to surround them, leading to the ancient warning: never stare too long into the eyes of an Andalusian, or you will see the ghosts of fallen knights staring back. What do these silent guardians remember that humanity has long forgotten? Beware the ears that touch at the tips, for they belong to the Marwari, the legendary desert warrior of Rajasthan. How can a creature survive the scorching heat of the Thar Desert while carrying an armored rider into the heat of battle? This breed is famous for its inward curving ears, which can rotate 180 degrees, a biological marvel that allows them to hear enemies from a great distance. Their slender frames and high-set necks give them a silhouette that resembles two scimitars meeting on a crown of bone. They are the living shadows of the desert, moving across the sand without a sound, as if they were made of the wind itself. Local legends whisper a chilling warning. The Marwari hears the desert spirits calling your name long before you can hear them yourself. If a horse can hear the whispers of the supernatural, what is it trying to tell us about the ground we walk upon? Why has the Arabian horse been revered as a drink of the wind for over 5,000 years, outlasting empires and conquerors? In this documentary observation, we see a creature with a unique skeletal structure, often having 5 lumbar vertebrae instead of 6 and 17 ribs instead of 18. This biological anomaly grants them unparalleled endurance and superior heat dissipation in the desert's lethal temperatures. Their high tail carriage and concave, dished profile are not for show. They are functional adaptations for a life of survival. Visually, they resemble an elegant desert mirage, floating across the dunes with a grace that seems to defy gravity. Local nomads whisper a chilling warning: never lie to an Arabian horse, for they carry your secrets directly to the stars. When the moon hits their large, dark eyes, it is said they can see the path to the afterlife. What truth are they hiding behind that silent gaze? Do not be fooled by the gentle appearance of the gypsy vanner, for they were bred to pull the heavy weight of an entire culture's secrets through the thick European mist. Originally developed by the Romanical travelers, these horses are biological tanks, characterized by heavy bone structure and profuse feathering that starts from the knees, protecting their legs from damp terrain. Their resilience allows them to survive on minimal forage while hauling massive, ornate caravans over long distances. To look at them is to see a storybook illustration come to life, their piebald coats and flowing manes moving like white and black clouds through a fog-covered forest. However, there is a haunting rumor among travelers that these horses can hear the footsteps of those who haven't arrived yet. The warning is clear. Never lead a gypsy vanner into a graveyard after dusk, or they may never return. Why did the Nez Perce people risk everything to protect this specific spotted breed during their historic retreat across the rugged American Northwest? The Appaloosa is defined by 4 core biological markers: a distinct coat pattern, mottled skin, striped hooves, and a white sclera around the eye, similar to a human's. These features were not chosen for beauty, but for absolute camouflage and high-altitude endurance in the Rocky Mountains. Their physiology is a masterclass in adaptation, allowing them to navigate vertical terrain that would break other breeds. Visually, their coats look like a chaotic constellation of stars fallen onto a mountainside, or a dusting of snow on dark frozen earth. Legends say the Appaloosa was born from the thunder of the peaks. Tribesmen warn that if the spots on a horse's back ever align with the stars above, it marks the end of an era. Stand back. The ground trembles beneath the Shire horse, a titan of the animal kingdom, whose sheer power could crush steel with a single misstep. Holding world records for size, a Shire can stand over 18 hands high and weigh more than 2,100 kilograms. Their anatomy is a marvel of industrial-era biology, featuring massive cannons and shoulders built to haul over 5 tons of weight through deep mud. In the wild, they are living fortresses, their heavy, white feathered legs moving like pillars of a cathedral. Despite their strength, old stable masters warn that a Shire never forgets a face or a grievance. The rumor persists. If the giant sighs at midnight, stay far away from the barn, for it is communicating with the spirits of the deep earth. Do we control these giants, or are they merely tolerating our presence until the earth calls them back? How can a creature achieve such mechanical perfection that it moves with the cold, calculated grace of a precision-engineered machine? The Hanoverian is the pinnacle of German warm-blood breeding, governed by strict biological standards that filter for rectangular frames and powerful, elastic movements. Their physiology is meticulously optimized for elite athletic performance, allowing them to execute complex dressage movements that seem biologically impossible for an animal of their size. They resemble a sequence of rhythmic shadows, gliding on a surface of glass rather than solid ground, their muscles rippling like liquid silver. There is a chilling belief among breeders that these horses are too perfect to be entirely natural. The warning passed down is simple. When a Hanoverian stares at you with absolute stillness, it is measuring your soul for its next conquest. Is it a horse or a masterpiece of biological engineering with its own dark agenda? Witness the biological resilience of the Haflinger, a breed originating from the southern Tyrolean mountains of Austria and northern Italy. This documentary-style observation reveals a horse characterized by its universal pangolare, chestnut coat, and distinct flaxen mane and tail. Standing between 13.2 and 15 hands, the Haflinger possesses a high bone-to-muscle ratio, an evolutionary necessity for navigating steep, oxygen-thin alpine terrains. Their metabolism is highly efficient, allowing them to maintain peak physical condition on sparse mountain forage that would leave other breeds malnourished. Visually, they resemble a polished golden coin shimmering against the emerald backdrop of the Alps, sturdy and bright. The local mountain folk take immense pride in this mountain pony, often remarking that the Haflinger is the living heartbeat of the Tyrol. It is a symbol of endurance that has remained unchanged for centuries, a true masterpiece of high-altitude adaptation. The Dutch warmblood, or KWPN, is a marvel of modern agricultural engineering and selective breeding from the Netherlands. This scientific analysis focuses on its origin as a cross between the heavy Groningen and the elegant Gelderlander, refined with thoroughbred blood to produce an elite athlete. These horses are characterized by a rectangular frame, long legs, and a sloping shoulder that facilitates a massive elastic stride. Biologically, they are bred for a calm temperament combined with explosive physical power, making them the dominant force in international show jumping and dressage rankings. In motion, they look like a precision-engineered machine, every muscle firing with the calculated grace of a piston in a luxury engine. The Dutch people view the KWPN as a crowning achievement of their national heritage and meticulous breeding standards. It is a testament to how human intervention can refine the raw power of nature into a perfect athletic form. In the rugged Jura Mountains of eastern France, the Comtois horse thrives as one of the oldest and most successful heavy draft breeds in Europe. Following a strictly observational approach, we note their massive neck, short but powerful limbs, and a coat that is typically bay silver with a strikingly light mane. Their physiology is built for raw pulling power. They were historically used to haul massive pine logs through deep snow and dense forests, a task requiring immense cardiovascular strength and grip. These horses are not a product of fantasy, but of a rigorous environment that demands absolute physical utility and calm under pressure. They appear like ancient moving oak trees, rooted deeply in the soil with every heavy footfall. Local farmers describe the Comtois as a silent partner in their survival, a breed that embodies the rugged pride of the French Highlands. How can a creature so small possess the strength to outpull animals twice its size? This is the central mystery of the Shetland pony, an equine powerhouse from the harsh, windswept Shetland Isles. Despite standing no taller than 10.2 hands, their biology is optimized for extreme survival. They possess a double coat to repel freezing rain and a thick layer of fat for winter insulation. Scientifically, they have the highest strength-to-size ratio of any horse breed on the planet, an evolutionary adaptation to a land where resources are scarce and the climate is brutal. They look like sturdy, moss-covered boulders that have suddenly sprouted manes and legs, blending perfectly into the moorlands. However, Seasoned handlers offer a warning to those deceived by their cute appearance. A Shetland's mind is a labyrinth of ancient stubbornness. Never underestimate their will, or you may find yourself outmatched by a giant in a tiny body. Beware the silent shadows of the Australian outback, for you are entering the territory of the Brumby. These are not mere horses. They are the feral descendants of escapees, forged into a new, lethal species by the unforgiving bush. Their anatomy is a chaotic genetic mosaic, featuring hardened hooves that never need shoeing and a heightened fight-or-flight instinct that keeps them invisible to the untrained eye. In the wild, they move with a desperate, jagged speed, their bodies lean and scarred from constant battles for dominance in water. Visually, they look like ghosts of the desert, their dusty coats making them appear and disappear like smoke against the red earth. Local bushmen whisper a chilling warning. If you hear a stallion scream in the dead of night, do not follow it, for the Brumby knows paths that lead only to the void. They are the wild, untamed spirit of a continent that refuses to be conquered. The Lipizan is a living symbol of European classical history, famously associated with the Spanish writing school of Vienna. In this documentary-led analysis, we observe a breed that is almost exclusively gray, though biologically born black or dark brown, only lightening to its iconic white coat over 6 to 10 years. These horses possess a sturdy, Baroque physique with a high-set neck and powerful hindquarters, engineered for the demanding airs above the ground maneuvers. Scientific records trace their lineage back to the 16th century, blending Spanish, Italian, and Arab bloodlines at the Lipica stud. Visually, they resemble moving marble sculptures, their coats gleaming like polished pearl under the arena lights. In Slovenia and Austria, the Lipizan is more than an animal. It is a national treasure and a testament to centuries of preservation. As the locals say, to own a Lipizan is to hold a piece of history in your hands. The Norwegian fjord horse is a biological relic of the Ice Age, remaining one of the world's oldest and purest breeds. Observing this horse in its natural habitat, we see a creature perfectly adapted to the rugged Scandinavian terrain, characterized by its distinct dun color and a thick, bicolored mane. A unique scientific feature is the primitive dorsal stripe that runs from the forelock to the tail, a mark of its prehistoric ancestors. Standing at a compact 13 to 14.3 hands, their skeletal structure is built for extreme density and stability on steep mountain paths. They look like ancient forest spirits, their stocky frames and upright manes making them appear as if they were carved from the very rocks of the fjords. For the people of Norway, the fjord horse represents an unbreakable bond with the Viking past. It is a source of immense regional pride, embodying the quiet strength of the North. The Oldenburg horse represents the pinnacle of German sports horse breeding, originating from the Grand Duchy of Oldenburg. This scientific overview highlights a breed that transitioned from a heavy carriage horse to a world-class athlete through selective crossing with thoroughbreds and trakehenners. They are characterized by a large, expressive frame, reaching up to 17.2 hands, with an anatomy optimized for elastic, ground-covering movement. Their physical build is a masterpiece of modern biomechanics, featuring a strong back and clean, powerful limbs designed for the highest levels of jumping and dressage. Visually, they move like a sleek dark shadow across the turf, their muscles rippling with the efficiency of a high-performance engine. The Oldenburg breeders maintain a strict standard of excellence, viewing each horse as a living legacy of their meticulous craftsmanship. It is the ultimate manifestation of German precision and athletic prowess in the equine world. Why did the Falabella family of Argentina spend generations perfecting a horse that could fit inside a living room? How can a creature so small maintain the exact biological proportions of a full-sized horse rather than a pony? The Falabella is a genetic miracle, the result of a rigorous downsizing program that began in the 19th century with a small thoroughbred stallion. These animals possess a surprisingly long lifespan, often reaching 40 years, and a skeletal structure that sometimes features fewer ribs than a standard horse. They are not mere pets, but concentrated bundles of equine history, moving with a grace that defies their miniature stature. Visually, they appear as a pocket-sized titan, a creature from a dream where the world has shrunk around them. One must wonder, what secret knowledge does this tiny guardian hold about the vast plains it once roamed? Is it a horse, or a spirit trapped in a miniature frame? Beware the shadows of Minorca, for the Minorquin horse possesses a skill that borders on the supernatural. How can a 1,000-pound animal balance itself on its hind legs and walk forward into a crowded festival without faltering? This breed is a black-coated enigma, characterized by a slender, Baroque silhouette and an extraordinary ability for elevated movements. Their anatomy is specifically adapted for the boat, a vertical walk where they move on their hind legs for incredible distances, a feat that would break the spirit of any other breed. They move through the streets like a rising dark tower, their eyes reflecting the torchlight of ancient Spanish traditions. A chilling warning is whispered among the islanders. When the black horse walks on two legs, the barrier between the living and the dead grows thin. If you find yourself in its path, do not blink, for the Minorquin's gaze can paralyze the bravest heart. How does life persist where the air itself freezes into diamonds? The Yakut horse is a biological miracle from the Sakha Republic, a creature that thrives in temperatures plunging to minus 70 degrees Celsius. Their physiology is a masterclass in survival. They possess an incredibly thick winter coat measuring up to 15 centimeters and a specialized metabolism that reduces their heart rate to conserve energy. They are not merely animals. They are the silent breath of the Siberian tundra, standing motionless as the aurora borealis dances above them. their breath turning into a cloud of crystal mist. To witness a Yakut horse is to see the absolute purity of life's will to endure. When the pale sun touches their frosted manes, one cannot help but feel a divine presence in the silence. Is this horse the true guardian of the Arctic's frozen soul? Listen to the thunder of hooves that no man can ever truly own. The Mustang is the living pulse of the American West, a breed forged not by human hands, but by the brutal selection of the open range. Biologically, they are a mosaic of strength, possessing a skeletal density and a respiratory efficiency that allows them to travel 50 miles in a single day across sun-scorched basins. They are the definition of harmony between creature and land, their coats reflecting the dusty ochre and deep shadows of the canyons. They look like a breaking wave of raw muscle, a surge of power that refuses to be dammed by fences or steel. In the golden hour of the desert, the Mustang becomes a silhouette of pure, unadulterated liberty, a sacred remnant of a world before maps. When the red light of the setting sun bathes the herd, does it reveal a spirit that humanity lost long ago? Step into a silence where the past and present merge into a single, breathtaking form. The Spanish Norman is a poetic resurrection, a meticulous blend of the noble Andalusian and the powerful Percheron, designed to recreate the legendary warhorse of the Middle Ages. Their anatomy is a study in balance. They possess the heavy bone and massive chest of a knight's mount, yet move with a lightness that seems almost celestial. To see them is to see a cathedral in motion, their presence commanding an atmosphere of profound solemnity and ancient respect. They resemble a charcoal sketch of a dream, their dark coats absorbing the light as if they were carved from the very shadows of history. There is a spiritual weight in their stillness, a sense of a protector who has returned from the mists of time. When the morning light reflects off their broad brows, do they remember the vows of chivalry we have forgotten? How can a single ancestor define the spirit of an entire nation's heritage? The Morgan horse is a masterpiece of American biological legacy, tracing its entire lineage back to a single, extraordinary stallion named Figure. Their physiology is a perfect harmony of compact power and refined elegance, featuring a high-set, arched neck and eyes that radiate an uncanny, human-like intelligence. They are not built for war, but for the quiet, enduring partnership between man and nature, moving with a rhythm that mirrors the heartbeat of the New England forests. They look like a sculpture of burnished copper, glowing with an inner light that speaks of steadfast loyalty and unbreakable will. In the dappled sunlight of an autumn grove, the Morgan stands as a sanctuary of peace, a creature that seems to hold the very essence of the earth's grace. If a horse can embody the soul of a people, what divine message is written in its gentle stride? Beyond the reach of time, in the searing heart of the Karakum Desert, stands the Akal Teke, the golden horse that has haunted the dreams of emperors for 3 millennia. This is the ultimate biological enigma. Their hair shafts are uniquely hollow, refracting light to create a literal metallic shimmer that makes them appear as if they were forged in a celestial furnace. Their anatomy is built for the impossible, capable of crossing hundreds of miles of waterless waste with a speed that defies physical limits. They are a spear of liquid gold piercing the horizon, a vision so magnificent it seems to belong to a higher plane of existence. As the desert sun ignites their metallic skin, we are forced to confront our own transience against their eternal beauty. They are the alpha and the omega of the equine world, a testament to the heights of nature's artistry. In the presence of such a creature, we must ask, are we the masters of this world, or merely brief witnesses to a glory that will outlast humanity itself? Step into a world where the future has already arrived. This is not a science fiction set, but a 2.6 square kilometer high-tech masterclass in urban planning. As a premier modern high-tech hub, it serves as the central nervous system for over 500 global enterprises and research institutes. The infrastructure is a marvel of efficiency, featuring integrated smart grids and automated systems that monitor the environment in real time. Scientifically, it represents the optics valley of China, pushing the boundaries of laser technology and semiconductor research. Visually, the city looks like a geometric forest of glass and steel, with the iconic energy flower building blooming towards the sky as a symbol of sustainable growth. The architecture is a crystalline manifestation of human ambition, reflecting the clouds in its shimmering facades. As the sun sets behind the sleek towers, a digital aura begins to pulse through the streets, raising a profound question. Is this the birthplace of a new civilization? Or have we finally built a home for the artificial minds of tomorrow? What if the most luxurious commercial complex in the world wears hidden entirely beneath your feet? Welcome to Chengdu SKP, the world's largest underground luxury commercial complex, stretching across 260,000 square meters. Descending 30 meters below the surface, this engineering feat features a sophisticated sunken plaza design that allows natural light to penetrate the deep marble corridors through massive glass apertures. The climate-controlled environment utilizes geothermal regulation to maintain a perfect, eternal spring regardless of the weather above. Visually, it resembles a subterranean spaceship or a futuristic palace carved from the Earth's crust, where luxury boutiques line the walls of a high-tech abyss. Above, a lush public park conceals the mechanical complexity below, creating a stark contrast between nature and consumerism. In the soft glow of the underground LEDs, a strange silence hangs over the marble halls, leading one to wonder about the treasures we bury. Are we digging deeper to find luxury, or are we building a sanctuary to hide from the world above? Can a building capture the fluid grace of a single water drop frozen in time? The Jiangsu Grand Theater is a 270,000 square meter architectural symphony designed by PES architects. It consists of 4 distinct petal-like shells that house an opera house, a concert hall, and theaters, each engineered with world-class acoustics that can isolate sound down to a single decibel. The structure utilizes a complex steel mesh and over 30,000 unique glass panels to create its organic, curving form. Visually, these 4 massive structures look like giant lotus petals floating on a mirror of glass, reflecting the nearby Yangtze River. It is a lighthouse of culture, standing as a testament to the harmony between modern engineering and artistic expression. When the interior lights shimmer through the glass skin at night, the building seems to breathe with the rhythm of a silent orchestra. Does the stone here remember the songs it has heard, or is it waiting for a melody that hasn't been written yet? Look up. The stars are no longer silent. They are dancing for us in a synchronized ballet of light and code. China has redefined the night sky with drone swarms consisting of 3,000 to 5,000 individual units, all coordinated by a centralized AI system. Each drone is a precision-engineered node, capable of maintaining its position within centimeters while traveling at high speeds. These displays utilize advanced RTK, real-time kinematic positioning, to create massive, 3-dimensional animations that span kilometers of airspace. Visually, the sky transforms into a digital canvas where a dragon made of thousands of fireflies breathes fire over the city, or a translucent ghost ship sails through the clouds. It is a mesmerizing collision of technology and art that makes the traditional fireworks seem like relics of the past. As the electric stars fade back into the darkness, a chilling realization settles in. Have we finally replaced the ancient gods of the sky with our own glowing creations? And what happens when the power goes out? Imagine moving an entire river across a continent to save a thirsty nation. This is the South-North Water Transfer Project, the largest water diversion scheme in human history. Scientifically, it is a gargantuan network of canals and pipelines spanning over 1,400 kilometers, designed to move 44.8 billion cubic meters of water annually from the Yangtze River to the parched north. The project involves massive pumping stations that defy gravity and tunnels that cut through the hearts of mountains. Visually, it looks like a blue scar of liquid life stretching across the landscape, an artificial vein feeding the industrial centers of the north. It is a monumental correction of nature's geography, a statement of total human dominance over the environment. As the water flows silently through its concrete cradle, a spiritual weight hangs over the project. Can man truly master the path of the river forever? Or is nature merely waiting for the right moment to reclaim its stolen flow? Don't blink, or you will miss the fastest ground transportation on Earth. The Shanghai Maglev is not a train in the traditional sense. It is a magnetic ghost that glides 10 millimeters above its track, reaching top speeds of 431 kilometers per hour. It utilizes powerful electromagnetic fields to eliminate friction, allowing for an eerily smooth ride. The physics of the maglev involve liquid-cooled magnets and a propulsion system that pushes the train forward using a traveling magnetic wave. Visually, it appears as a silver bullet, a blur of motion that cuts through the Shanghai skyline like a needle through silk. Inside, the world outside becomes a smeared landscape of light and color, proving that time and space are at the mercy of speed. In the silent hum of the magnets, there is a sense of traveling through a rift in reality. Is speed the ultimate goal of humanity, or are we just running faster and faster to escape our own shadows? How can a train cross the open sea at 350 kilometers per hour without touching the waves? The Fuzhou-Jimen Railway is China's first cross-sea high-speed line, a 277-kilometer engineering miracle that bridges 3 major ocean bays. The bridges are built with high-performance, corrosion-resistant steel and concrete to withstand the brutal saltwater environment and typhoon-level winds. The precision required for the tracks is measured in millimeters to ensure safety at extreme speeds over the shifting tides. Visually, the railway looks like a white dragon leaping across the blue abyss, a slender thread connecting islands and coastal cities. It is a triumph of saltwater engineering that turns a treacherous journey into a 20-minute breeze. As the train glides over the crashing surf, the blue horizon seems to stretch into eternity. Does the sea forgive the tracks we have laid across its surface? Or is the bridge just a temporary bridge over an unconquerable deep? Stand back and watch a mountain move a ship. The Gupatan shiplift is the highest vertical shiplift in the world, a mechanical titan that hoists 3,000-ton vessels up a staggering 199 meters. It operates through a 3-stage system of massive hydraulic elevators and gear-driven chambers that defy the weight of the water itself. This is a masterpiece of hydraulic engineering, designed to bypass the massive Gupatan Dam on the Wu River. Visually, it resembles a giant mechanical ribcage rising from the canyon, lifting entire ships into the mist like they were toys in a bathtub. The scale is so immense that it dwarfs the surrounding cliffs, a monument to the industrial will to reshape the earth. In the thunderous groan of the gears and the rush of falling water, a question echoes through the canyon. Are we the architects of a new world? Or are we building towers of steel that will one day be swallowed by the very rivers we try to cage? Welcome to the Cathedral of Consumption, where luxury knows no borders and the sun always shines on gold. The Sanya International Duty-Free Complex is the largest of its kind in the world, covering 120,000 square meters of pure retail therapy. Its architecture is inspired by the begonia flower, featuring a stunning, free-form glass roof that mimics the delicate curves of a butterfly's wings. The complex is a climate-controlled sanctuary of high-end brands, engineered with advanced airflow systems to keep the tropical heat at bay. Visually, it is a crystalline oasis resting on the edge of the South China Sea, its white steel bones gleaming against the turquoise water. It represents the pinnacle of the modern material dream, a shimmering temple built for the global traveler. As the evening lights ignite the glass facade, the complex glows like a fallen star on the beach. Can the weight of gold and silk ever truly fill the void in the soul? Or is this just a beautiful mirage? Step inside a city within a city, where the sun never sets and the canals of Italy have been reborn in the heart of Asia. The Venetian Macao is the largest single-structure hotel building in Asia, a 980,000 square meter labyrinth of gold and marble. It features an incredible artificial sky that transitions from dawn to dusk, meticulously painted to create an eternal twilight. The biology of the building is massive, housing 3,000 suites and a canal system where gondoliers sing beneath bridges that have never seen the rain. Visually, it is a gilded illusion, a sprawling masterpiece of Renaissance architecture recreated with modern excess. It is a place where reality is suspended and the outside world ceases to exist. In the shimmering reflection of the indoor canals, the line between truth and fantasy disappears completely. Is this a paradise of our own making? Or have we built a beautiful trap where time has no meaning? Dive into the heart of the abyss without ever getting wet. Chimelong Ocean Kingdom is not just a theme park. It is a gargantuan biological sanctuary holding the Guinness World Record for the largest total aquarium volume, with over 48 million liters of salt water. The centerpiece is the whale shark exhibit, featuring a viewing window that spans 39.6 meters, engineered to withstand the immense pressure of a 12-meter deep tank. This massive life support system utilizes advanced filtration cycles that process millions of gallons every hour to mimic the currents of the open ocean. Visually, the park resembles a giant blue lung of the earth, where the shimmering azure water pulsates with the rhythmic movement of thousands of marine species. It is a crystalline cathedral of the deep, where rays glide like silent ghosts, across a sapphire sky. As the soft bioluminescent light flickers against the glass, one feels the ancient presence of the Leviathans. Do these captive giants dream of the boundless tides, or have they become the silent guardians of our own curiosity? Do you dare to cross the Sea of Death? The Taklamakan Desert Highway is a 522-kilometer engineering scar across one of the most hostile environments on the planet. To prevent the road from being swallowed by shifting dunes that move up to 20 meters a year, engineers planted a 436-kilometer green belt of sand-fixing shrubs, sustained by a sophisticated drip irrigation system, drawing from deep underground aquifers. This is a battle of biology against geology, where reed grids are laid in a chessboard pattern to stabilize the volatile terrain. Visually, the highway looks like a slender black ribbon cutting through an infinite ocean of golden waves, a path that shouldn't exist in a world of dust. It is a testament to human defiance against the absolute void of the desert. In the blinding heat haze, the sand seems to whisper the names of those lost on the ancient Silk Road. When the sun turns the dunes into hills of fire, one must ask, is this a bridge to progress, or a trespass into a land that was never meant to be conquered? The Phoenix has landed, and its wings span the horizon of the future. Beijing Daxing International Airport is a 700,000 square meter architectural masterpiece designed by the late Zaha Hadid, featuring the world's largest single-structure terminal. Scientifically, its starfish design is a marvel of radial efficiency, ensuring that no passenger has to walk more than 8 minutes to reach a gate. The structure is supported by 8 massive C-shaped columns that bloom into a vaulted roof, allowing a flood of natural light through 8,000 unique glass panes. Visually, it resembles a giant golden alien organism resting on the plains, its flowing curves mimicking the organic lines of a living cell. It is a celestial terminal, a threshold where the earth meets the heavens in a symphony of steel and light. As the amber glow of sunset reflects off the copper roof, the building appears to vibrate with the energy of a million journeys. Where does a voyage truly begin? In the sky above, or in the silent heart of this golden giant? Touch the clouds, or become one in the silver needle of Shenzhen. Standing at 599 meters, the Ping An Finance Center is a 115-story titanium and steel titan that serves as the vertical heartbeat of China's Silicon Valley. The building's tapered form was aerodynamically engineered to reduce wind loads by 35%, while its facade utilizes 1,700 tons of high-grade stainless steel to resist the corrosive salt air of the coast. It is a masterpiece of modern structural physics, anchored by a massive foundation that reaches deep into the bedrock like the roots of a mountain. Visually, it looks like a shimmering blade stitching the earth to the sky, its reflective surface absorbing the colors of the passing clouds. It stands as a modern Tower of Babel, a crystalline monument to the heights of human ambition. When the piercing white light of the moon hits the spire, a chilling sense of height washes over the observer. Are we building closer to the gods to find answers, or are we simply trying to hide how small we truly are? Ascend the ladder to the sky, a road that defies the laws of gravity and the instability of the Earth. The Yaxi Expressway is a 240-kilometer engineering marvel that climbs over 1,500 meters through the rugged mountains of Sichuan. Featuring a bridge-to-tunnel ratio of over 55%. It crosses multiple earthquake fault lines, requiring the use of innovative seismic isolators and towering piers that reach 182 meters in height. This is a concrete dragon spiraling through the mist, weaving in and out of the clouds like a dream made of stone. Visually, it looks like a delicate thread of civilization draped over the jagged primordial peaks of the Himalayas. It is a path of the immortals, where the modern world intersects with the ancient silence of the mountains. As the heavy fog rolls across the asphalt, the road seems to disappear into a white void. Can the speed of our machines ever outrun the destiny written in these ancient stones? Or is the journey itself the only destination? Witness the silver serpent that has bridged the impossible. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is the world's longest sea crossing, spanning 55 kilometers across the turbulent Pearl River Delta. It is a hybrid of engineering extremes, including a 6.7-kilometer undersea tunnel submerged 40 meters below the waves to allow for the passage of giant container ships. The bridge's steel structures are designed to withstand magnitude 8 earthquakes, super typhoons, and the impact of 300,000-ton vessels. Visually, it resembles a shimmering dragon vein of the ocean, a white line of defiance against the vast blue abyss. It is a monumental anchor, tethering 3 distinct cities into a single economic pulse. In the glimmering reflection of the sea at dawn, the bridge looks like a path leading to an eternal horizon. Does the ocean forgive the concrete we have laid across its back? Or is it merely waiting for the tides of time to reclaim its territory? The weight of the world's water is held back by this concrete titan. The Three Gorges Dam is the world's largest power station, generating 22.5 gigawatts of electricity, enough to power a small nation. Scientifically, the mass of 39 billion cubic meters of water held in its reservoir is so immense that it has slightly shifted the Earth's rotation, lengthening our days by 0.06 microseconds. The dam is a gargantuan wall of 27 million cubic meters of concrete, engineered to tame the Yangtze River, the long dragon of China. Visually, it looks like a gray fortress, choking the life of a great river, a man-made mountain that has rewritten the geography of a continent. It is a monument to total human dominance over the natural world. As the thundering foam of the spillways creates a permanent mist, a spiritual tension hangs in the air. Can man truly cage the rage of the river gods forever? Or is the water merely gathering its strength for a final catastrophic release? Whatever you do, don't look down. The Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge is a 430-meter-long nightmare of transparency, suspended 300 meters above a jagged canyon. It is constructed of 99 panes of 3-layered tempered glass, each capable of supporting the weight of a heavy truck. The bridge's aerodynamics were tested to survive high-altitude wind vortices that could snap lesser structures like a twig. Visually, it looks like a transparent scar across the Avatar Mountains, a floating walkway that disappears into the ethereal sunlight of the peaks. Walking across it feels like stepping into the void, where the boundary between the physical world and the sky evaporates. It is a bridge between reality and the supernatural, where the spirits of the mountains seem to watch from the depths below. As the golden light of the sun illuminates the abyss through the glass floor, a haunting question echoes through the mind. Is the earth calling you back? Or are you finally learning how to fly? Ascend the 100 Dragons in a vertical ascent that defies the limits of the sky. The Bailong Elevator is the world's tallest outdoor elevator, whisking passengers 326 meters up a sheer sandstone cliff in just 92 seconds. The structure is anchored into the quartz sandstone pillars of Wuling Yuan, utilizing 3 double-deck cars that can carry 4,900 kilograms each. It is a masterpiece of vertical engineering, built into a UNESCO World Heritage Site that inspired the floating mountains of Pandora. Visually, it looks like a steel vertical vein running up the side of a sleeping giant, a silver streak against the ancient green foliage. It is a lift to the celestial palace, a mechanical shortcut to the realm of the gods. As the golden aura of the morning sun hits the glass cabin, the world below shrinks into a miniature dream. Why are we always trying to leave the earth behind? Is it a search for freedom or a desperate escape from ourselves? In this world, friction is a lie, and speed is the only truth. The Shanghai Maglev is a precision-engineered ghost that travels at 431 kilometers per hour without ever touching the ground. It utilizes German Transrapid technology, where powerful electromagnets levitate the train 10 millimeters above the track, eliminating all physical resistance. The liquid nitrogen-cooled systems manage the heat generated by the massive electrical pulse required to propel the train forward. Visually, it appears as a silver bullet slicing through the fabric of time. A blur of motion that turns the landscape into a smear of neon and gray. It is the pulse of a synthetic future, a machine that moves faster than a human heart can beat. As an electric blue arc flashes from the guideway, the cabin remains eerie and silent. If we move fast enough, can we finally outrun time itself? Or are we just arriving at the end of the world sooner than expected? Witness the sheer audacity of human geometry as it stretches across the horizon. The Jiaozhou Bridge is an engineering masterclass in durability and scale, spanning 26.7 kilometers over the open water to connect Qingdao and Huangdao. This T-shaped behemoth is supported by over 5,000 concrete pillars and was constructed using 450,000 tons of high-grade steel, enough to build 65 Eiffel Towers. Scientifically, the structure is designed to withstand magnitude 8 earthquakes, severe typhoons, and the impact of a 300,000-ton vessel, while its concrete is specially treated to resist the corrosive effects of high salinity seawater. Visually, the bridge looks like a sprawling, metallic constellation resting on the blue mirror of the bay. Its white spans zigzagging like a path toward another world. It represents a monumental triumph of regional pride and logistical precision. As the sea mist clings to the towering supports, a sense of quiet power radiates from the stone. The local fishermen often pause their boats in its shadow, wondering if the sea truly accepts this concrete giant. Does the ocean remember the weight of the land it now carries? Or is it slowly plotting to reclaim the space between the tides? Can humanity truly rewrite the circulatory system of a continent. The South-North Water Transfer Project is a gargantuan environmental correction, specifically focusing on the Central Route, E, which draws water from the Danjiangkou Reservoir to parched Beijing. This project involves a 1,432-kilometer concrete artery that utilizes massive siphon tunnels to dive 60 meters beneath the bed of the Yellow River. The engineering must account for precise gravitational gradients, ensuring the water flows naturally across varying elevations without the constant need for heavy pumping. Biologically, the project includes massive ecological buffers to ensure the water remains pure as it crosses multiple provinces. Visually, it looks like a sapphire vein carved into the dusty skin of the earth, a relentless stream of liquid life cutting through industrial landscapes. It is a testament to the scientific belief that nature's mistakes can be fixed by human will. As the water pulses silently through its concrete cradle, an eerie calm settles over the massive gates. Can man truly master the path of the river forever? Or is the dragon merely waiting for the moment to overflow its artificial bounds? Step into the longest liquid history book ever written by human hands. The Grand Canal is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a hydraulic miracle that has functioned for over 2,000 years, stretching 1,876 kilometers from Hangzhou to Beijing. Scientifically, it is a masterclass in ancient engineering, featuring the world's first pound locks, invented during the Song Dynasty, to lift and lower vessels across different water levels. The canal represents a massive biological and economic bridge, connecting the fertile rice paddies of the south with the political heart of the north. Visually, it resembles a dark, shimmering scar of history etched into the plains, its banks lined with ancient stone bridges and modern skylines alike. It is a monument to the endurance of Chinese civilization and the pride of its ancestral engineers. In the dim light of the evening, the water seems to turn into liquid ink, carrying the secrets of 1,000 dynasties. If the water stops flowing, does the history of the nation stop as well? Or is the canal dreaming of a future we have yet to build? Stop. You are standing at the entrance to the world's busiest mechanical heart. The port of Shanghai is an invisible giant of global trade, handling over 47 million TEUs, 20-foot equivalent units, annually. The crown jewel is the Yangshan Deepwater Port. Built on an offshore island and connected by a 32-kilometer bridge to the mainland, it operates with a cutting-edge, fourth-phase automated terminal, where AI-driven cranes and driverless trucks move containers with a precision that defies human speed. This is a biological ecosystem of steel, where the blood is electricity and the brain is a centralized cloud server. Visually, The port looks like a metallic forest that never sleeps, with thousands of red and blue boxes stacked into canyons that block out the sun. A chilling rumor persists among the few workers left on site that the machines have begun to anticipate movements before the orders are even sent. The warning is clear. Don't get lost in the automated stacks, for the cranes do not recognize the heartbeat of a human. Who truly controls the flow of the world when the machines decide the rhythm? How can a god carved from a cliff calm the rage of 3 crashing rivers? The Leshan giant Buddha is a 71-meter-tall titan, the largest stone Buddha in the world, carved directly into the red sandstone of Mount Lingyuan during the Tang Dynasty. Scientifically, it features a hidden, sophisticated drainage system consisting of gutters and channels distributed inside the Buddha's 1,021 hair buns, ears, and chest to prevent erosion and weathering. The sheer mass of the statue was strategically placed to displace the turbulent currents of the Min, Qingyi, and Dadu rivers, effectively making the waters safer for passing ships. Visually, it looks like a mountain that has found its soul and opened its eyes, sitting in eternal meditation as the emerald water swirls around its massive feet. Local monks whisper a terrifying prophecy. When the Buddha's toes are submerged, the world will be washed clean by the Great Flood. As the river mist rises to touch the Buddha's stone lips, a haunting silence falls over the canyon. When the Buddha finally cries, will we be ready to face the waters he has held back for centuries? Do not lean too heavily against the stones, for every brick is bonded by the dust and bones of the fallen. The Great Wall of China is a 21,196-kilometer defensive lung, a stone dragon that breathes history through its crumbling embrasures. The Ming Dynasty sections were built using an ingenious biological mortar made of slaked lime and sticky rice, creating a chemical bond so strong that even modern drills struggle to penetrate it. The wall's positioning follows the dragon's back of the highest ridges, utilizing the natural terrain as a force multiplier for the watchtowers and signal fires. Visually, it resembles a jagged, petrified skeleton sleeping on the spine of the world, a gray line of defiance that separates civilization from the void. It is a monument to the fear and the will of 100 generations. Legend has it that if you press your ear to the stones at midnight, you can still hear the rhythmic marching of a ghost army that never left its post. Is the wall keeping the enemies out, or is it keeping something much older and more dangerous trapped within the hills? your heart is not made of steel. For walking on Mount Baishi is like floating over a glass abyss that threatens to break under your weight. This place is a nightmare for those who suffer from vertigo. Transparent bridges that curve around fangs of white marble, defying your senses at every step. Do not look down, because if the abyss looks back at you, you could lose your balance and become part of the tragic legend of these summits. Situated in Hebei Province, this National Geological Park reaches an altitude of 2,096 meters. It is unique in China for its marble peak forest formations, created billions of years ago. It houses the longest and highest glass walkway in the country in its category, situated at 1,900 meters high, with a length of 95 meters. The structure uses high-resistance glass 3.2 centimeters thick, designed to withstand the impact of rocks and hurricane-force winds. The landscape looks like a forest of giant teeth made of white marble and granite, rising from a sea of clouds like ivory needles. The crystal trails look like invisible silk threads connecting the abysses, creating the illusion that travelers are walking directly on air. When the sun shines, the white stone reflects the light so intensely that the mountain seems to be made of raw diamonds scattered across the range. Under the diamond glow of midday, a vibrant energy is felt that local monks associate with absolute purity. It is said that Mount Baishi is the bridge between the physical world and the realm of mental clarity. A white glow floods the spirit of whoever survives the ascent. In this challenge of crystal and marble, is it fear that stops you, or is it the possibility of discovering that your soul is as resistant as the stone you step on? Stop. Do not defy the silver giant if you are not prepared to surrender your breath to the void. In the summits of Shanzidu, the air becomes a knife of ice and death lurks behind every gust of wind. This is not a mountain for tourists. It is a sacred territory where oxygen is a luxury and the abyss is a constant promise for those who dare to disturb its eternal sleep. Rising to 5,596 meters, this massif is the southernmost glacier in the northern hemisphere. Its main peak remains undefeated, as no human expedition has managed to crown it due to its vertical limestone walls and extreme weather conditions. It contains 19 glaciers that act as a vital thermometer for the Yunnan ecosystem. From a distance, the mountain looks like the spine of a white crystal dragon resting on a bed of clouds. Its sharp peaks are like silver fangs trying to tear the cobalt blue sky. Under the icy glow of the moon, it is said that the third kingdom of love opens for desperate lovers. Locals warn, do not listen to the song of the wind, or the dragon will claim your soul. Is the summit a trophy or an altar where man can only kneel? Prepare to enter the living painting that define the soul of a nation. Huangshan is not just a mountain, it is the culmination of the epic vein of human and natural history. Here, the immensity of centuries is concentrated in a single landscape of legendary rocks and pines that have seen empires fall. Formed 100 million years ago, this world wonder has 72 main peaks. Its greeting pine is more than 1,500 years old. It has been the inspiration for more than 20,000 poems and thousands of classic Chinese paintings since the Tang Dynasty. Huangshan looks like a sea of granite sailing among waves of mist. Its rocks have shapes of mythological animals, and the pines grow from the cracks like dancers petrified on a stage of infinite clouds. When contemplating the sunrise from the bright top, the entire universe seems to be summarized in an instant. It is a question about our existence. If these rocks have remained motionless for eons, what is the true weight of our human concerns in the face of eternity? Before the face of Vajrapani, the power of the mountain manifests in a pyramid of pure ice and rock. Xianhuoduoji is the peak of justice and strength, an unshakable stone wall in the sacred triangle of Daocheng Yading. Here, beauty is not subtle. It is a force that strikes you with the purity of eternal white and the verticality of the Tibetan sky. It reaches an altitude of 5,958 meters. It is one of the 3 sacred peaks of Tibetan Buddhism in the region, representing energy and power. Its formation of white marble and limestone gives it a unique silver glow that does not change even when there is no snow. Due to the mineral composition of its surface, the mountain rises like a perfect triangle of dark crystal and shining snow, appearing as a divine spearhead directed at the sun. Its sheer slopes drop onto valleys of red forests and turquoise lakes, creating a contrast of colors that seems unreal. When the wind howls between its ridges, it is said that the deities are purifying the karma of the pilgrims. It is a moment of absolute respect before the indomitable force of nature. In this throne of ice, do you feel strong enough to face the naked truth of your own soul? Is it possible to walk on a dream of silk suspended in the void? Welcome to the Ruyi Bridge, a wonder where architecture surrenders to fantasy. In this corner of Shengxianju, engineering does not seek to dominate nature, but to integrate into it like a breath of glass, inviting you to a deep introspection while you float among the clouds and the silence of the sacred mountains. Inaugurated in 2020, this bridge spans 100 meters at a terrifying height of 140 meters over the abyss. Its undulating design is inspired by the ruyi, a traditional Chinese scepter that symbolizes good fortune. The structure is composed of 3 intertwined bridges with reinforced glass sections, capable of withstanding high-magnitude winds and the weight of hundreds of simultaneous visitors. From the air, the bridge looks like a giant's eye observing the universe, or a silver DNA chain joining 2 realities. Its fluid curves contrast with the rigidity of the cliffs, looking like a silk ribbon forgotten by a deity in the middle of the emerald landscape. When the sunlight pierces the glass, a celestial glow envelops your feet, reminding you that the connection between the human and the divine is as fragile as it is beautiful. In this path of fortune, would you dare to cross toward the version of yourself that waits for you on the other side of fear? What if time were a river that could be stopped simply by walking across a millennial stone bridge? Welcome to Lijiang, a kingdom of silk and water where yesterday and today merge in an eternal embrace. Here, the air is not breathed. It is felt like a caress of history, inviting you to lose yourself in a labyrinth of dreams where every corner whispers legends of ancient caravans and forgotten poets under the shadow of the dragon. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997, this architectural jewel in Yunnan Province has over 800 years of uninterrupted history. Situated at an altitude of 2,400 meters, Lijiang is a prodigy of ancient urbanism. It is the only historical city in China that lacks defensive walls. Its complex water system, fed by the snowmelt from the nearby Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, uses a network of canals that traverses every street, ensuring that pure water flows constantly beneath the foundations of its wooden houses. Walking through its cobblestone alleys, the view is lost in a tapestry of arched bridges and weeping willows that dance to the rhythm of the breeze. The black wooden houses with curved roofs look like the scales of a great sleeping mythological animal, while red lanterns are reflected in the canals like small suns submerged in a mirror of liquid crystal, creating a landscape that seems to have been painted with jade brushes. Under the silvery moonlight, the murmur of the water transforms into the sacred song of the Naxi ethnic group, a frequency that seems to purify the soul and wash away the sorrows of the outside world. It is an instant of absolute communion where the divine manifests in perfect harmony between man and nature. In this sanctuary of peace, I ask you, in a world that never stops, have you ever felt the sacred silence of a place that has waited centuries just to see you pass by? Is it possible for the spirit of the Tang dynasty to continue breathing through the cold stone? Welcome to Tianlong Mountain, the celestial dragon, a sanctuary where art and devotion merge in an eternal dance of serenity. In this sacred corner, stillness is not the absence of sound, but the presence of a millennial peace that invites the soul to detach itself from the mundane and rise toward pure enlightenment. Among the shadows of caves carved by hands that sought the divine, this complex of Buddhist grottos, whose construction began in 534 AD and extended until the Tang Dynasty, houses 25 caves carved into sandstone cliffs. Situated at an altitude of 1,480 meters, the site is famous for its sculptures representing the peak of Chinese Buddhist realism. Despite suffering looting in the early 20th century, more than 500 statues and reliefs are preserved today, demonstrating a carving technique so refined that the stone seems to possess the softness of human skin. Looking at the grottos from the valley, the mountain looks like a great stone manuscript open to the sky. The cave entrances resemble watchful eyes guarding celestial secrets. Inside, the figures of Buddha, with their robes that seem to float in an invisible wind, resemble lotus flowers sprouting from the living rock, while light filters through the openings like golden silk threads, weaving a mantle of divinity over the spectator. When the silence of the afternoon envelops the reliefs, an ethereal glow seems to emanate from the stone faces, as if the deities were about to awaken from a 1,000-year dream. It is the feeling of being watched by eternity itself, an encounter where time stands still. In this enclosure of sacred light, I ask you, can a work made by men capture the essence of the immortal before the world forgets it? Is it possible for human courage to defy the laws of gravity and absolute isolation? Welcome to the limit of the impossible, a place where survival is not a right, but a daily conquest against the abyss. Prepare to witness the ladder to heaven, the final refuge of a civilization that decided to live among the clouds and the void, where a single false step separates life from an eternal fall into history. Situated in Zhaozhui County, Sichuan Province, the village of Atulair rises majestically atop an 800-meter-high vertical cliff. For more than 200 years, its inhabitants, belonging to the Yi ethnic group, were isolated from the modern world, using only precarious vine and wooden ladders to descend. It was not until recent years that a structure of 2,556 steel steps was built to connect this enclave with civilization, transforming a death trap into one of the most astonishing rural engineering feats of the 21st century. From an aerial perspective, Atulair does not look like a village, but an eagle's nest carved by giants into the living rock. The houses cling to the stone like small terracotta scales on the emerald skin of the mountain. The steel staircase zigzags up the vertical wall like a metal spine, an iron scar attempting to heal the wound of isolation in the vastness of the canyon. When the first light of dawn strikes the precipice, a golden glow envelops the village, as if the gods themselves were protecting this suspended sanctuary. The elders say that each step represents a heartbeat of their ancestors, proof that the human spirit can flourish even in the most hostile place on earth. If life is an endless climb into the unknown, how many steps would you be willing to climb to reach your own freedom? Have you ever heard the whisper of the infinite in the breath of the wind? Welcome to Xiahe, a mystic threshold where the earth rises to kiss the sky, and time is measured in the rhythmic turns of prayer wheels. In this sacred corner of Gansu province, the air is saturated with incense and devotion, offering a refuge where the soul can finally find its way through the deep silence of the mountains and the peace of ancient chants. Founded in 1709, the Lebrang Monastery is the beating heart of Siahe and one of the 6 great institutions of the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism. Situated at an altitude of 2,900 meters, this spiritual complex features the longest wall of prayer wheels in the world, extending for more than 3 kilometers in circumference. With its 6 colleges of learning and thousands of resident monks, Lebrang has remained for more than 300 years as one of the most influential theological universities and cultural centers in all of Central Asia. From the hills that embrace the valley, the monastery unfolds like a vast city of faith, where golden roofs shine like captive suns under the cobalt blue sky. The temple walls, painted in a deep crimson red, seem to emerge from the earth like roots of a millennial wisdom. The monks, in their saffron-colored robes, flow through the cobblestone alleys like petals swept by an invisible current, creating a human tapestry that dances between shadow and light. When the amber light of sunset bathes the white stupas, it is said that the prayers released to the wind purify the karma of all who hear them, allowing divinity to descend upon the valley. It is a moment of absolute communion that transcends words and borders. In this sanctuary, where the echo of ancestors still resonates, I ask you, are you prepared to silence the noise of the world and listen, at last, to the truth that dwells within your own interior? Is it possible to walk among the clouds and touch the roots of heaven? Welcome to Zhangjiajie National Forest Park, a sanctuary where reality breaks to give way to the purest fantasy. In this sacred corner of Hunan Province, nature does not obey the laws of men. Here, the stone seems to float in the air, and silence is a symphony of mist and mystery that invites us to contemplate the majestic fragility of the earthly against the eternal. Established in 1982 as China's first national forest park, this geological prodigy houses more than 3,000 quartz sandstone pillars. These colossal structures, some of which exceed 1,080 meters in height, are the result of an erosion process that began approximately 300 million years ago. It is a unique ecosystem where biodiversity clings to vertical walls, creating a vertical labyrinth that was recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1992. From the highest viewpoints, the landscape unfolds like a petrified army of giants guarding the unfathomable abyss. The pillars, wrapped in shreds of white mist, look like floating islands suspended in a sea of liquid crystal, or perhaps the fingers of an ancient deity trying to reach the sun. It is a setting that seems to have been painted by divine brushes, where each emerald peak is a scar of beauty on the skin of the earth. When the setting sun bathes the summits with a veil of crimson gold, it is said that the breath of ancient dragons transforms into the mist that purifies the souls of travelers. It is an instant of sacred wonder where the physical and the divine merge into a single breath. In a place where mountains learn to fly by defying gravity, would you dare to free your spirit and let it get lost in the vastness of the infinite? Why did nature decide to sculpt 8 dragon horns pointing toward the infinite in this precise place? Bajiaojai, or the Village of the 8 Horns, defies all geographical logic. It is a labyrinth of peaks that seem to have emerged from a geological nightmare or a dream of ancient gods. Here, the question is not how it was formed, but what invisible force keeps these structures in such a precarious and terrifying balance over the abyss of the borders. This wonder of the Dangxia Formation rises 818 meters above sea level, on the border between Guangxi and Hunan. Its main structure is composed of reddish sedimentary rocks dating back 140 million years. The highest peak, known as the Main Horn, offers a 360-degree view where you can count exactly the 8 main peaks that give the site its name, formed by a unique vertical erosion that has created walls of nearly 90-degree inclination. From the top, the landscape looks like a sea of giant snail heads or elephant trunks emerging from an ocean of mist. The reddish peaks contrast violently with the emerald green of the surrounding jungle, creating the illusion that the mountain is bleeding life. The sharp ridges zigzag like the spine of a prehistoric beast that has been petrified while trying to escape from the depths of the earth. Dull noises are often heard coming from the deep cracks, sounds that locals attribute to the awakening of stone dragons. It is said that whoever manages to burn incense on the most extreme peak will see their wish fulfilled, but the price is to stare into the void without blinking. In this altar of red rock, I warn you, do not listen to the whispers that rise from the abyss, for there are secrets the mountain does not want to share with the living. Beware of the shadows dancing under the Tuojiang River as night falls. Fenghuang, the city of the Phoenix, is a place of such extreme beauty that it borders on the disturbing. Here, bridges do not just connect banks, but dimensions. It is said that the mythological phoenix flew over this valley and, bewitched by its own reflection in the water, decided to stay forever. But beneath its picturesque appearance, whispers of a dark past hide, refusing to rest under the docks. More than 300 years old, this city of the Miao and Tujia ethnic groups preserves its original Qing dynasty structure. Its famous Diaojiaolu stilt houses stretch along 2 kilometers of the river, supported by wooden pillars that have resisted centuries of humidity and floods. The city wall, built in 1704, flanks the river with watchtowers that still guard the passage of wooden boats, which are the only traditional means of transport in this watery labyrinth. At dawn, the city seems to float on a dense sheet of white mist, as if it were a ghost ship anchored in time. The stilt houses look like giant wooden spiders trying to drink from the river, while their black roofs curve like the wings of nocturnal birds. The reflection of the red lanterns in the water creates a trail of luminous blood that seems to guide travelers toward a world that should no longer exist. There is a local legend that warns visitors not to look at their own reflection in the river at midnight, for the Tuojiang keeps the souls of those who were lost in the mist. The crimson glow of the night lights hides presences that only the Miao elders know how to appease with ancient chants. In this kingdom of water and wood, I ask you, is this a refuge of peace or a golden cage where time has been trapped by a curse of beauty? How is it possible that a city built on water has survived intact for almost 1,000 years of wars and natural disasters? Zhouzhuang, the Venice of the East, poses an architectural and spiritual enigma. It is a place where streets are canals, and the silence is only broken by the rowing of Chinese gondolas. But why was this city chosen as the hiding place of the richest men in history? What is hidden under the dark waters of its stone bridges? Founded in the year 1086 during the Northern Song dynasty, Zhouzhuang has 14 ancient stone bridges concentrated in an area of barely 0.47 square kilometers. More than 60% of current structures date from the Ming and Qing dynasties. Its most emblematic building, the Shen Residence, consists of 7 courtyards and more than 100 rooms, built by the descendant of Shen Wansan, the man who, according to legend, possessed a magical treasure that multiplied gold. From the air, Zhouzhuang looks like a floating chessboard made of jade and porcelain. The canals form a network of liquid veins that feed the body of the city, while the twin bridges Shid and Yonggan look like an ancient key designed to open a door to the past. The white walls and gray-tiled roofs, moistened by constant drizzle, shine like the skin of a silvery fish under the diffuse light of eastern China. It is said that on full moon nights, the water in the canals becomes so clear that you can see the gold foundations of Shen Wansan's fortune. But only those with a pure heart can resist the temptation to dive in. An aura of commercial and spiritual mysticism envelops every corner. In this network of sacred canals, do you believe that wealth is measured in accumulated gold, or in a city's ability to remain immutable against the devastating passage of centuries? Beware of getting too close to the edge of the peak of the Son of Heaven if you are not willing to lose your sanity. Tianzi Mountain is a landscape of nightmare and wonder, where thousands of stone needles launch toward the sky like spears of a petrified army. It is said that these towers are not rocks, but the warriors of King Xiangdakun, punished by the gods to watch over the abyss for all eternity. Here, the air is heavy, and the winds howl like the laments of a battle that never ended. Located in the central area of Wulingyuan, This mountain range reaches a maximum altitude of 1,262 meters. It extends over an area of 67 square kilometers and is formed mainly of quartz sandstone from 380 million years ago. The phenomenon known as the Sea of Clouds occurs more than 200 days a year, enveloping the peaks in a supernatural atmosphere. Its most famous pillar, the Master's Brush, consists of 3 thin peaks that rise vertically, defying all structural resistance. The landscape resembles a forest of natural skyscrapers carved by a mad giant. Each stone column is crowned by solitary pines that look like surrender flags waving in the void. When the mist slides between the peaks, the mountains look like skeletal fingers trying to tear the veil that separates the world of men from the kingdom of heaven, creating an image that looks like a Chinese ink painting coming to life in a threatening way. Local legend warns that the mountain's echo can steal your soul if you scream your name in the valley. It is said that the ghost of the Son of Heaven still rides over the clouds on stormy nights, looking for his lost soldiers. A purplish glow usually appears on the summits before the rain, a warning sign for intruders. In this vertical cemetery of giants, I ask you, are you sure that what you hear is the wind, or is it the scream of a mountain claiming its dominion? Why was Pingyao designed exactly in the shape of a giant tortoise, the symbol of immortality? This walled city is not just a historical center. It is a stone amulet on an urban scale conceived to resist the end of time. Upon crossing its gates, you abandon the 21st century to enter a fortress of greed and honor, where money flowed like blood, and where every brick seems to guard the secret of how to master the financial destiny of an empire. Established in the 14th century during the Ming Dynasty, Pingyao preserves an intact defensive wall 6.4 kilometers long and 12 meters high, with 72 watchtowers. It was the financial center of China during the Ming and Qing dynasties, housing the first bank in the country, the Rishengchang, founded in 1823. The city is arranged on a perfect symmetrical axis, housing more than 3,000 traditional residences, of which about 400 are maintained in their original state after more than 600 years. From the towers of the wall, the city unfolds like a dark gray stone shell. Its narrow streets form the pattern of a defensive labyrinth, where dark tiled roofs huddle like the scales of a millennial reptile. The contrast between the intense red of the bank lanterns and the ash gray of the walls creates an atmosphere of austere opulence, as if the city were a giant treasure chest buried in the plains of Shaanxi. It is rumored that in the depths of the underground vaults, the spirits of bankers still count invisible coins under the dying light of candles. A feeling of constant vigilance permeates the air, as if the stone tortoise were about to move. In this city that learned to convert paper into gold, I ask you, what really survives time? The wealth we accumulate, or the walls we build to protect our fears? Beware of losing your gaze in the mirrors of the devil. The Yuanyang terraces are not just agriculture. They are a visual trap where heaven and earth are confused in an infinite embrace. Here, a false step between the mud edges would not only take you to the water, but would submerge you in a labyrinth of reflections that have driven photographers and poets mad as they try to capture their changing essence. Sculpted by hand by the Hani ethnic group for more than 1,300 years, these terraces cover a colossal area of 170,000 acres. Without the use of modern machinery, the farmers have created a gravity irrigation system that flows from the forested peaks to the valleys, descending slopes of up to 70 degrees. In 2013, UNESCO recognized them as a World Heritage Site, not only for their beauty, but for being a perfect ecosystem that has survived millennia without degrading. From the heights of Duoyashu, the landscape looks like a mosaic of broken stained glass, or the shining scales of a giant water dragon resting on the mountains. When the sun reflects on the stagnant water, the terraces change from a crimson red to an electric gold, looking like a liquid crystal staircase that connects the world of men with the realm of the clouds. Under the silvery glow of dawn, the vapor rising from the fields looks like the accumulated breath of 50 generations of Hani ancestors who still watch over their seeds. It is a reminder that we are part of the earth, not its owners. In this giant mirror of humanity, what version of yourself will you see reflected in the sacred water before the mist erases everything? Why has the wind, in thousands of years, never allowed the sand to devour the city of Shanshan that lies at its feet? The Kumtog Desert poses a question that defies the laws of nature. It is a living wall of sand that rises like a hungry titan, but stops exactly at an invisible line, as if a divine hand had ordered it not to take one more step toward the world of the living. Located in the Turpan Basin, the Kumtag covers approximately 2,500 square kilometers. It is famous for its singing sands, an acoustic phenomenon caused by the friction of sand grains that reach temperatures of up to 80 degrees Celsius in summer. Despite being attached to an inhabited area, the dunes, which can reach 200 meters in height, remain stable due to a unique system of air currents that blow the sand back into the heart of the desert. The Kumtog looks like a sea of golden silk, frozen in the middle of an eternal storm. Its dunes have ridges so sharp they look like knives of light cutting the cobalt blue sky. At sunset, the shadows lengthen like dark fingers, trying to catch the last trace of heat, creating a relief that resembles the waves of an ocean of petrified fire. When the sun disappears and the silence of the desert becomes deafening, it is said that the spirits of the ancient Silk Road emerge from the sands to tell their stories. An amber glow seems to sprout from the ground, as if the desert kept an internal sun. In this immensity, where time is only a grain of sand, are you able to listen to what the wind tries to tell you before it erases your footprints forever? In the heart of the Loess Plateau, life is not built toward the sky, but is sought in the bowels of the earth. The Yaodong houses represent the ultimate union between man and the soil that sustains him, an architecture of survival that has sheltered millions of people for millennia. Welcome to the oldest home in the world, where rock and dust are transformed into an impenetrable refuge against time. These underground dwellings date back more than 4,000 years, and even today house about 40 million people in northern China. Excavated into the Loess soil, a very compact silty sediment, the houses maintain a constant temperature of between 10 and 20 degrees Celsius throughout the year, functioning as a perfect natural air conditioning system. They usually have a depth of 10 to 15 meters and are designed with reinforced arches that have resisted massive earthquakes over the centuries. Seen from the air, the landscape looks like a giant honeycomb excavated in the golden skin of the earth. The sunken square courtyards resemble geometric wounds that reveal the hidden life beneath the surface. The arched entrances, decorated with red paper, look like mouths that silently breathe the dust of history, integrating so perfectly into the terrain that an entire village can go unnoticed by the untrained eye. At nightfall, a dim light breaks out from the earth, as if the mountain itself were dreaming. According to an ancient local proverb, the earth is our mother, and to return to her is to find peace. There is a silent wisdom in living beneath the ground we walk on. If everything we build upward is destined to fall, would it not be wiser to seek our eternity in the deep roots of the earth? Welcome to the origin of everything we know. Fuxi Mountain is not just a geological formation. It is the mythological epicenter where Chinese civilization was born and the secrets of the universe were encoded. Here, earth science meets the legend of the gods, in a place where walking along its cliffs is like traveling through the pages of a book written with stone, clouds, and ancestral wisdom. Located in Henan Province, this mountain reaches an altitude of 1,108 meters. It is famous for housing what was at the time the longest circular glass bridge in the world, which protrudes 30 meters out from the cliff without visible supports, offering a terrifying vertical view. Geologically, the area features limestone formations dating back hundreds of millions of years, with caves and waterfalls that form a vital hydrological system for the central region of China. The mountain rises like a green stone dragon protecting the valley. The glass bridge, suspended in the void, looks like a diamond ribbon forgotten by a giant over the abyss. When clouds envelop the peaks, the structure seems to float in nothingness, creating an invisible bridge between solid reality and the ethereal world of the myths that Fuxi, the ancestor of humanity, left behind. When the first light of the sun strikes the summit, a mystical glow envelops the rocks, where it is said the first bagua, 8 trigrams, were drawn. It is a moment when the air vibrates with an ancient energy that seems to purify thought. In this altar of creation, where the past and the future touch, I ask you, can you feel the invisible connection that unites us all with the first breath of civilization? In the middle of the jungle of glass and steel of one of the largest metropolises in the world, there is an emerald lung that refuses to be suffocated by progress. Baiyun Mountain, or the Mountain of the White Clouds, is the sacred refuge of Guangzhou, a place where nature has established its own kingdom, offering a peace that money cannot buy, and a view that reminds us that no matter how high a city is, the mountain will always watch from above. With an area of 28 square kilometers, this national park consists of 30 interconnected peaks. Its highest point, the Moxing Ridge, rises to 382 meters above sea level. It has been a famous scenic destination since the Han Dynasty, more than 2,000 years ago. Its dense forests act as a natural filter, producing significantly higher oxygen levels than in the urban center, and house rare species of birds and medicinal plants that have been documented in ancient treatises. Baiyun looks like a jade crown placed on the head of a concrete giant. When it stops raining, white clouds wrap around its slopes like a silk scarf, hiding and revealing the Buddhist temples that peek through the foliage. It is a violent and beautiful contrast. On one side, the frenzy of modernity. On the other, a sea of green leaves dancing to the rhythm of a millennial wind. An ancient local proverb says, "He who does not climb Baiyun does not know the heart of Guangzhou." The soft glow of the morning mist has an almost healing effect on the weary spirit of the traveler. It is the victory of organic life over asphalt. In this sanctuary of clouds and silence, are you willing to leave behind the noise of the world to find at last the calm that your soul claims? Welcome to the first protected natural sanctuary of China, a geological laboratory where the Earth decided to break its own rules. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park is not just a tourist destination. It is a living testament to planetary evolution, a place where science and majesty intertwine to offer a spectacle that defies human understanding of erosion and time. Officially established in 1982, this park covers an area of 4,810 hectares. Its most distinctive feature is the quartzite pillars, formed more than 300 million years ago from ancient ocean sediments. Thanks to a unique tectonic process and water erosion, today we can observe structures that reach 1,000 meters in height, with a mineral composition that allows the growth of endemic biodiversity with more than 700 species of higher plants. From a technical perspective, the park looks like a forest of organic skyscrapers. The pillars are not mere rocks, but backbones of the world that sustain entire ecosystems on their summits. The dense vegetation hanging from its vertical walls resembles emerald velvet mantles, while the natural rock bridges look like triumphal arches built by the invisible hand of geology. The sunlight, filtering through the cracks of the pillars, creates a golden glow that locals call the breath of the world. An ancient proverb of the Tujia ethnic group says, "The mountain does not speak, but it knows all the secrets of heaven." In this temple of stone and science, are you able to feel the humility of being only an instant in the chronology of the earth? Exploring Tianzi Mountain is to delve into a historical archive carved in stone. Known as the Summit of the Son of Heaven, this formation offers one of the most complete geological chronologies of the Wulingyuan region. Here, the study of stratigraphy becomes an overwhelming visual experience, where each layer of rock tells a story of ancient seas and colossal upheavals. Tianzi Mountain peaks at Kunlun Peak at 1,262 meters above sea level. Geologically, it is composed of red sandstone and quartzite from the Devonian period. The area extends for 67 square kilometers and presents a vertical weathering phenomenon that has created more than 2,000 individual peaks. The density of the mist in this area reaches 85% of the days of the year, which generates a specific microclimate that affects the erosion rate of the summits. Viewed from the cable car, the landscape unfolds like an infinite army of stone spears trying to pierce the celestial vault. The summits, sharp and thin, look like giant brushes dipped in cloud ink, ready to write across the sky. The contrast between the grayish stone and the pines growing at impossible angles creates the image of a city suspended in a mineral dream. When the mist dissipates, a silvery glow bathes the peaks, symbolizing the clarity after the storm. Popular belief holds that the peaks are the petrified soldiers of King Xiang, waiting for his call. It is said that he who climbs Tianzi sees the world through the eyes of an emperor. What part of your own sovereignty will you discover upon contemplating this abyss of silent wisdom? Welcome to the most impressive masterpiece of agricultural engineering in Southeast Asia. The Yuanyang Terraces are not just a landscape. They are a monument to water management and sustainable design that has endured for more than a millennium. It is the point where mountainous geography was domesticated by human need, creating a perfect symbiosis between man and the ecosystem. This terrace system was developed by the Hani people approximately 1,300 years ago. Covering an area of 11,000 hectares, the terraces rise from 144 meters to 2,000 meters above sea level. Most amazing is their irrigation system. There are no artificial reservoirs. Water is collected from the forests on the summits and distributed by gravity channels that ensure that not a single drop is wasted in its descent through thousands of levels. From the Bada viewpoints, the terraces look like an immense liquid stained glass window that reflects the colors of the sky. The geometric arrangement of the mud dikes creates a pattern that resembles the fingerprints of the earth itself. In winter, when the fields are flooded, the landscape transforms into a fragmented mirror, where each level captures a different portion of sunlight, like silver scales on the hillside. At sunset, the water shines with an amber tone, a glow that the Hani consider the blessing of the ancestors upon the harvest. There is a local saying, "The earth is the body, the water is the blood, and the man is the breath." It is a lesson in patience and faith in the cycle of life. In this labyrinth of sacred mirrors, will you be able to recognize the invisible connection that unites us to the land that feeds us? Why was a city of such historical and commercial importance built without a single defensive wall? This is the question that strikes everyone who crosses the threshold of Lijiang. In an ancient world defined by fortresses and sieges, Lijiang decided to trust its safety to something much more powerful and subtle than stone. But what secret do its canals hide that forced invaders to respect its beauty for centuries? With a history of more than 800 years, Lijiang is the epicenter of Naxi culture. Its architecture is unique for having survived devastating earthquakes, such as the one in 1996, thanks to its flexible and nail-less wooden construction system. The city sits on an aquifer that feeds a network of 354 stone bridges. The flow of water is so precise that it divides into 3 main canals at the water gate, crossing every street and plaza with a hydraulic efficiency that defies modern techniques. Lijiang is not walked, it is navigated with the eyes. Its cobblestone streets with red breccia rock shine under the rain as if they were made of polished rubies. The houses, with their curved roofs that look like crane wings about to take flight, group around the canals like elders sharing secrets. The water, always present, acts as a liquid mirror that doubles the beauty of the red lanterns and dark wood. There is a rumor among the Naxi elders. They say the spirit of the Jade Dragon Snow Mountain flows through the canals, and that, if you listen carefully to the murmur of the water at midnight, you will be able to hear the voices of the caravans of the Tea and Horse Road. It is a silent warning. Do not take anything from Lijiang, or the river will follow you to your house to claim its history. In this labyrinth of water, what secrets would you be willing to leave behind to find your way? Be careful when walking through the outer corridors of the monastery when the shadow of the mountain hides the sun. Xiahe is not a destination for the faint of heart. It is a border territory where the air is thin and the presence of the sacred can be overwhelming. Here, the whispers of the monks mix with inexplicable noises emanating from the depths of forbidden temples, reminding you that you are an intruder in a kingdom governed by laws that are not of this world. Situated at 2,900 meters altitude, Xiahe is home to the Lebrang Monastery, which contains the largest collection of Buddhist scriptures outside of Tibet. The complex has more than 1,000 rooms and 6 Buddhist colleges. During the winter, temperatures drop to 20 degrees Celsius, creating an atmosphere of absolute isolation. The Kora, or circumambulation path of 3 kilometers, is surrounded by thousands of wooden prayer wheels that have been turned so many times that the wood has acquired a texture similar to human skin. The town looks like a crimson and gold wound on the side of a barren mountain. The temple walls, painted with ox blood and mineral pigments, contrast violently with the white of the stupas that look like giant teeth driven into the earth. The monks, wrapped in dark robes, move through the incense mist like shadows that have forgotten how to die, creating a visual image that oscillates between the divine and the macabre. It is rumored that in the deepest chambers of Lebrang, where the sunlight has never reached, the protectors of the Dharma guard relics that emit an unnatural heat. Pilgrims warn that you should not look directly into the eyes of the statues in the darkness, as they could steal your will. An amber glow flickers in the high windows at dusk. In this outpost of the spirit, would you dare to face the silence of your own soul against the vastness of the Tibetan void? Why do thousands of adrenaline seekers risk their lives every year on the most dangerous trail on the planet? Welcome to Huashan, the mountain that does not forgive mistakes. Here, the question is not whether you will be afraid, but why your survival instinct pushes you to walk on rotten wooden planks suspended over an abyss of thousands of meters. Is it the search for enlightenment, or simply a macabre dance with death in the heights? Situated in Shanxi province, Mount Huashan is one of the 5 sacred mountains of China, reaching an altitude of 2,155 meters. Its geological formation of solid granite dates back more than 100 million years. The famous plank walk in the sky consists of wooden walkways, barely 30 centimeters wide, anchored to the vertical rock by rusted iron bolts, forcing climbers to use basic harnesses while the wind lashes with gusts exceeding 60 km/h. From a distance, Huashan resembles a lotus flower, carved by a divine lightning bolt. But up close, its peaks are like 5 stone swords driven into the heart of the sky. The trail zigzags like a white scar on the gray skin of the mountain, where iron chains look like exposed veins that travelers squeeze with desperation, while their feet hang over absolute nothingness. When the silvery light of the moon bathes the precipices, it is said that the shadows of ancient Taoist hermits walk through the air without needing boards. A spectral glow emanates from the cracks, as if the mountain kept the souls of those who failed to finish the ascent. In this altar of granite and vertigo, I ask you, is an instant of absolute glory over the abyss worth more than a lifetime of security on the ground? Do not be fooled by the silence of its emerald meadows, for Lingshan devours the breath of the unwary when the mist descends without warning. This mountain, the highest in the vicinity of Beijing, is a territory where the weather changes with the speed of a blink, and where the cold can paralyze your heart before you find shelter. If you hear a whisper among the wildflowers, do not stop. It is the mountain warning you that this is no place for the living. With an altitude of 2,303 meters, Mount Lingshan is the highest peak in the metropolitan area of the capital. It is characterized by a unique alpine microclimate, where temperatures can be 15 degrees lower than those in the city. Its ecosystem houses an astonishing biodiversity with more than 800 species of plants and hundreds of wild animals, protected by rugged terrain that has remained indomitable despite the proximity of the megacity. Lingshan looks like a sleeping giant covered by a carpet of green velvet that reaches up to the clouds. Its slopes, dotted with vibrantly colored flowers, contrast with the rocky summits that look like teeth of a prehistoric monster trying to bite the cobalt blue sky. At sunset, the mountain is dyed a deep violet, looking like a floating island in a sea of thick and mysterious mist. Under the icy glow of the stars, local legends speak of mountain spirits who guide the lost toward the void. An aura of cold mysticism envelops the sacred rocks, where it is said that the wind carries the voices of a forgotten past. In this sanctuary of heightened solitude, are you prepared to face the silence of your own mind while the world disappears beneath your feet? How is it possible that a single mountain is considered the home of the 10,000 immortals and the epicenter of alchemical medicine? Welcome to Mount Luofu, an enigma wrapped in the fragrance of sandalwood and perpetual clouds. Here, the question that haunts scholars is what alchemical secret is hidden in its springs that so many sages have chosen this place to seek eternal life. Is it the water that heals, or is it the mountain itself that alters the flow of destiny? Located in Guangdong Province, Mount Luofu covers an area of 214 square kilometers and possesses 432 individual peaks, with Feiyun Peak being the highest at 1,296 meters. It is one of the 10 sacred mountains of Taoism, famous for its 980 mineral water springs and its meditation caves that have been used since the Han Dynasty, more than 2,000 years ago, for the study of traditional Chinese medicine and the search for the elixir of immortality. The mountain unfolds like a jade bowl overflowing with life, where ancient temples peek through the foliage like forgotten jewels. Waterfalls descend over the rocks like threads of liquid silver, while the mist surrounding the summits looks like the smoke of a divine incense that never goes out. It is a green labyrinth where time seems to flow slower, as if gravity itself were less heavy in this refuge of sages. When the golden light of dawn strikes the statues of the temples, an amber glow floods the courtyards, suggesting the presence of the immortals who still walk its paths. It is said that whoever drinks from its sacred wells can see the past and the future in a single instant of clarity. In this altar of eternal life and hidden knowledge, what would you be willing to sacrifice to know the secret that the gods have kept for millennia? What mysterious force tints the forests of Guangwu such an intense blood red every autumn, as if the earth were screaming an ancestral secret? This mountain is a labyrinth of fire and mist, where beauty is so overwhelming it is almost painful. The question floating in the cold air is why this place, hidden in the depths of Sichuan, seems to burn without being consumed, drawing lost souls toward a sea of leaves that seem to whisper names from the past. Mount Guangwu rises to 2,500 meters and is world famous for possessing the largest sea of red leaves in Asia, covering more than 800 square kilometers. The region has more than 40 species of trees that change color simultaneously for only 3 weeks a year. Geologically, the area presents a karst topography, with deep caves and sharp peaks that act as natural traps for moisture, generating a perpetual mist that covers the mountain 70% of the year. In its prime, Guangwu looks like an ocean of emerald and crimson flames clashing against gray stone cliffs. The mist slides between the trees like white silk ghosts, creating a violent contrast with the burning red of the maples. From the summits, the mountain looks like a great forest fire frozen in time, where each leaf is a spark of light fighting against the darkness of the deep valleys. When the setting sun pierces the red mist, a supernatural glow envelops the forest, creating an atmosphere of sacred ceremony. Ancient hunters used to say that in the heart of Guangwu lives the spirit of autumn, which demands silence in exchange for beauty. In this realm of vegetal fire and eternal haze, would you dare to lose yourself in the forest, to find the part of yourself that the modern world has tried to extinguish? Enter the realm where silence becomes tangible and the earth seems to have forgotten the law of gravity. Wuling Yuan is a sanctuary of absolute peace, a labyrinth of stone where each column is a poem written by the patience of millennia, inviting you to a deep introspection among its emerald shadows. Recognized by UNESCO in 1992, this site houses more than 3,000 quartzite and sandstone pillars. It was formed 380 million years ago and possesses more than 40 caves and natural rock bridges that connect unfathomable abysses across a surface of 264 kilometers. The landscape looks like a forest of giant jade needles suspended in a sea of perpetual mist. The peaks float like islands in a white ocean, creating a vision of ethereal beauty that defies earthly logic. When the golden light filters between the columns, a purifying energy envelops the spirit. It is the breath of nature cleansing the impurities of the soul. In this vertical sanctuary, can you hear the heartbeat of the world that the city tried to silence? Welcome to the majestic symmetry of the gods. Jianglang Mountain is not just stone. It is a monument to harmony and firmness. Here, the stillness of its red walls invites a silent devotion, where the greatness of creation is manifested in 3 stone fingers that point the way toward enlightenment. Famous for its 3 peaks of Danxia Formation, it rises abruptly 819 meters. The crack between the peaks, known as a thread of sky, is the highest in China, with vertical walls of more than 300 meters separated by only a few meters in width. The 3 peaks look like 3 divine swords driven into the ground of Zhejiang, or perhaps 3 stone brothers guarding the valley with an unshakable loyalty that has lasted millions of years. An amber glow bathes the cliffs at sunset, evoking a sense of sacred peace. It is said that the spirits of righteousness inhabit its cracks. Faced with this fortress of mineral honor, how solid are the values that sustain your own life? Before the king of the mountains of Sichuan, the human soul has no choice but to surrender. Ganga is the epitome of spiritual purity, a pyramid of ice that demands absolute respect. In its presence, time stands still, and the immensity of the universe is felt in every particle of frozen air. With an altitude of 7,556 meters, it is the highest peak east of the Himalayas. Its mortality rate for climbers exceeds 90%, making it one of the most dangerous and sacred mountains in the world. Surrounded by 145 peaks of more than 5,000 meters, the Ganga rises like a throne of white crystal, dominating a sea of clouds. Its glaciers descend like tongues of melted diamonds over the deep valleys, shining with a light that seems from another world. When the first ray of sun crowns its summit of purest white, divinity seems to descend to earth. It is a moment of communion where the small becomes eternal. What part of your ego are you willing to abandon to reach the peace of this summit? Before the mountain that holds the weight of imperial history, time kneels. Mount Tai is not just a block of stone. It is the pillar that anchors the world and the first place the sun touches in the east. Here, each step up its millennial stairs is an ascent toward divinity, a path that emperors traveled to claim their mandate from heaven. Prepare to face the magnitude of a mountain that has defined the soul of a civilization. Recognized by UNESCO in 1987, Mount Tai reaches 1,545 meters. It has been a place of worship for more than 3,000 years and features 7,200 hand-carved stone steps. It is the setting for the Fengshan ceremonies, where 72 emperors performed ritual sacrifices to communicate directly with the gods. The landscape looks like an infinite staircase of gray jade that pierces the clouds. At the summit, the Jade Emperor Temple rises like a golden crown over a sea of mist, where the rocks inscribed with ancient calligraphy look like scars of eternal wisdom on the skin of the mountain. When the sun emerges from the Sea of China, a crimson glow floods the universe, reminding us that we are small, but part of an eternal cycle. In the face of this immutability, I ask you, how solid is your purpose when you face the eternity of stone? Welcome to the cradle of balance, where movement becomes meditation and the air vibrates with the energy of the Tao. The Wudong Mountains are a sanctuary of absolute harmony, a place where the yin and the yang embrace among palaces suspended in the abyss, inviting you to silence the noise of the ego, to listen to the fluid heartbeat of the universe. A World Heritage Site since 1994, this complex houses structures from the Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties. Tianzhu Peak, at 1,612 meters, is crowned by the Golden Hall, a structure made entirely of bronze and gold in the year 1416. Designed to withstand electrical storms for centuries, the temples seem to sprout from the cliffs like stone lotus flowers. Purple mist envelops the monks practicing Tai Chi, their robes flowing like water, creating a visual dance where the human and the natural merge into a single ethereal silhouette. An amber glow emanates from the altars at nightfall, purifying the spirit of the traveler. It is the encounter with the peace that does not depend on the outside world. In this realm of stillness, would you dare to let go of control, to flow with the eternal rhythm of life? Where the first Buddhist temple in China was built, the light of Buddha still shines with supernatural intensity. Mount Amei is a realm of compassion and wonder, a place where mountains learn to pray, and where the horizon opens to reveal the glory of the invisible behind a veil of infinite clouds. With an altitude of 3,099 meters, It is one of the four sacred mountains of Buddhism. It houses a 48-meter-high golden statue of Samantabhadra, which weighs 660 tons. Its ecosystem is so rich that it contains more than 3,000 species of plants, protected by centuries of religious veneration. The summit looks like a golden island floating on an ocean of white clouds. When the phenomenon of the Buddha light occurs, halos of colors envelop the shadows of visitors in the mist, creating a vision that looks like a fragment of paradise descending to earth. The sacred glow of sunset invites total devotion. It is the feeling of being forgiven by time itself. In this altar of height and faith, can you feel how the heaviness of your heart dissolves in the immensity of the sacred void? There is a refuge where silence is the only law, and solitude is the key to the truth. The Zhongnan Mountains have been, for millennia, the secret home of the hermits who renounce the world to find the Tao. Here, the stillness is so deep that you can hear your own thought before it becomes a word. Part of the Qinling Range, this mountain is considered the ancestor of all mountains. It is estimated that even today, more than 5,000 hermits live in caves and isolated huts along its slopes, maintaining spiritual traditions that date back more than 2,500 years. The landscape is a tapestry of caves hidden behind silk waterfalls and forests of millennial ginkgos. The small stone cabins, wrapped in constant haze, look like specks of dust in the emerald immensity, integrating perfectly into the skin of the mountain. Under the silvery light of the stars, the energy of the mountain offers absolute mental clarity. It is the return to the origin, far from ambition. In this sanctuary of hidden peace, what part of yourself would you discover if you finally dared to be alone?